Everyone, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is Prehistoric Facts Extra Episode number 107. This is my review of Prehistoric Planet Ice Age, which is Season 3 of Prehistoric Planet, and so I'll be giving you uh, what each episode actually has in terms of like animals, what it does talk about, even my overall thoughts, like the good and the bad, and my overall thoughts. And if you should check this show out. So let's actually get started, shall we? So this is like one of the promo or like one of the this is the title card for the show when it begins. And so the crew, it's mainly the same crew from the previous seasons. So like John Favreau's one of the producers, um, and like the music is done by the same people, but the narrator is different. And so the narrator is Tom Hiddleston instead of David Attenborough. Well, first and foremost, David Attenborough is getting older. He's nearly 100 years old. And so they had to go with somebody that is a little bit younger, or mainly younger. And so Tom Hiddleston kind of does fit the bill. And you know Tom Hiddleston in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Loki, and you also seen him in Kong Skull Island as the main character in that film. I forget his name though, but it's been a while since I've seen that film. But yeah, Tom Hiddleston is the narrator of the show. So let's actually get started for episode 1. So episode 1 is called The Big Freeze. And so we got woolly mammoths, features like caves. You also get to see a megalosaurus in there briefly. Uh, does talk about cave bears and their cubs in this episode. You also got cave lions in here as well. So majority of this is going to take place in Europe. And you got Megalonyx and it's young. That's more likely going to be in North America, uh, most likely because Megalonyx is mostly found in North America. You got cave hyenas in Europe. You also got a bear versus lion fight in here. Mainly the cave lions are going after the bear cubs, and the cave lion comes out on top. Or cave bear, I should say, comes on top. It's the cave bear that comes out on top in that duel. You also got to see a woolly rhino and its young, and you get to see Homotherium in pack hunting mode, which is actually pretty neat. You also get to see Smilodon populator, so that's in South America, and you get Macrocenia as well in South America. So you kind of get all different kinds of animals in here. And let's go to episode 2. Episode 2 is New Lands. That's what the title is. You get to see Arctotherium, which is a giant short-faced bear from South America, and it talks about Panama and how like Panama was developed around the early part of the Pleistocene, going into the like late Pliocene, going into the Pleistocene, and then you have the Great American Exchange. So like the like different kinds of animals moving across North and South America. You got Irmatherium, a giant ground sloth. And just so you know, Megalonyx in the previous episode is also a giant ground sloth as well. And so Irmatherium is in this giant ground sloth, and it's a really large giant ground sloth. You also get glyptodonts. So that's what this picture is a glyptodont, mainly a young glyptodont trying to nudge its mother. You also have a Columbian mammoths being shown here. You also have a dwarf stegodon, and so this will take place in an island, I think in the Indonesian area. And so, yeah, you get a dwarf stegodon. You get Leptoptilus, which is a giant stork, a giant bird that lives around that kind of time, going after the a dwarf stegodon calf. And you also get to see a terror bird in here, mainly from South America. It would be a smaller species of terror bird. and you got Protocyon, excuse me, Protocyon, along with the Arctotherium, where like the Protocyon made a kill, but then the Arctotherium uh, chased away those predators and be able to steal the kill. And of course, Smilodon populator does appear again in this episode with the Terror Bird. Episode 3 is called Desert Lands, and so you get Diablotherium, which is a giant ground sloth as well. And you also get Diprotodon, which is the giant wombat. You also get Thylacoleo, which is a ancestor or like a relative of a koala, a predatory relative of a koala, which is also known as the marsupial lion. You get Procoptodon, which is an ancient marsupial as well, a predatory marsupial. You got no, Procoptodon is the giant kangaroo. Procoptodon is the giant kangaroo. And so Procoptodon, the giant short-faced kangaroo. You got Propleopus. Propleopus is the other marsupial, carnivorous marsupial. Excuse me. You also get to see Megalania in here. You also get to see the Teratorns and also the a moa, the giant moa. And so most of this is going to take place in Australia and parts in South America. And so that's where you're going to see majority of this episode. Fourth episode is grasslands, and so there's not too many animals being featured in this one. This has got the least amount of animals being featured here. You get Elasmotherium being shown, which is nicknamed the Siberian unicorn, and you also get another Homotherium being shown here, this time in Africa, and you get Enhydriodon, which is the giant, which is a giant otter, which is unbelievable, and that's cool. We get to see a predatory animal that not many people know about, which is pretty cool. And we get to see Gigantopithecus in this one. It's a male Gigantopithecus surviving in its day, trying to survive its day, and also looking for a mate, but nothing happens in terms of finding a mate, so that kind of does suck for that Gigantopithecus. You get Didacurus, which is in this picture. Didacurus, the ancestor of the armadillo, with a club-like tail that has spikes on it, which is amazing. We get to see a male versus male combat with them. And the woolly mammoths make a return, but this time it's like in a warmer type of environment that they were in, and being able to feed on the grass and all that sorts of stuff. Then the final episode, which is episode 5, which is the big melt. So this season has 5 episodes, which is pretty much on the same par as the previous seasons. I think for season 1 had 6 episodes, if I remember correctly, um, but yeah, you actually get Homotherium again. You also get the woolly mammoth again, and so those two are actually pretty 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 much linked to each other because they're found in the same environment. You get the stellar sea cow that gets washed up and on a beach in, like, let's say it's going to be in like Alaska or Canada. And then we get to see Arctodus simus, or the giant short-faced bear from North America. You also get to see the Columbian mammoth, and it's mostly going to be a male Columbian mammoth. And we have the La Brea tar pits, and so the tar pits are actually being shown here. So this would take place in Southern California, and yeah, we get to see all of these. Like, we get to see the apparent like struggle of the fact is that this is a changing environment, and of course the tar sand, or the tar is exposed, and these animals get stuck, and they just die due to starvation and a very slow, agonizing death. And then we have Smilodon fatalis, which gets featured here with the La Brea tar pits, and of course dire wolves. And so the dire wolves make an appearance here, and which is awesome. And you get Megalosaurus, the giant Irish elk, all over again from, of course, from the first episode. And it's being chased by cave hyenas with their pack hunting strategy. And of course, we go to another area, which was to be in Asia, and we get to see the elephant bird, the giant elephant bird, and we also get to see a fossa, a large fossa that lived around that kind of time too. So, which is a cat. A fossa is a cat, to so to speak. And so, yeah, these are all the episodes. So let me go through the good parts of this show. So the good of this show, the CGI is fantastic. The CGI uh, doesn't disappoint. Like the imagery, especially in some parts of the settings, is really great. How they made every single follicle of hair and even feathers being moved around, which is amazing. They did a pretty good job, and they took their time to make sure that every little detail is looks on point. And the music is, of course, fantastic. Tom Hiddleston's voice of being a narrator is really, really good. I like him as a narrator. I think he does a really good job doing this. The settings of the area of like the where the animals are in is fantastic. They did go to actual places to actually film some of the areas where they were going to be putting some of these prehistoric animals, which is amazing. In each episode, in the end, features scientists talking about some of the latest research, which is really nice. Um, I know some of the criticisms from the previous seasons is that the scientists that got featured in the end of each episode, they weren't talking about too much of what was like some of the latest research, but there was some latest research stuff that was going on. It was just mainly like stuff that we kind of already knew about, but it was but this time it's more like in terms of the Ice Age, the Pleistocene, and that's actually really nice. And then at this time, the depiction of the struggles with the animals in their environment, and that is pretty amazing. We get to see how these animals behave in terms of these harsh climates, and also the predator-prey relationships. That's actually really well done in this episode, in this season. Really like that. I thought that was really, really well done. The bad in this is that they don't show a time range, so they don't really show like when do these take place. And so I think that's a big criticism of this show for this season is that they are not showing like is it like 50,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, 30,000 years ago, or like 15,000 years ago. They're not showing that. And so I think that was a big miss in this episode in this season. I think that was a big miss. Didn't say the scientific names of some of the animals in this show. I think it's mainly because like with a new narrator that does not have a scientific background, you're probably going to have to like dumb it down a bit to actually like have the narrator say like, oh, here's a giant ground sloth. Here is uh, a giant marsupials here and all of that, that sort of thing. And I get it, but then it's like we want to hear the names of these animals, the scientific names. There are some scientific names that were said in some episodes, but Big Miss was majority of that. And Megalania's eyes. That was the biggest disappointment with the Megalania was the eyes. Why give it slit pupils? Why? When majority of monitor lizards, the varanids, or not the varan, yeah, the var, the varanus, the varanus, which is the monitor lizard family, uh, they don't have slit pupils. They have like circular pupils. Why give a monitor lizard slit pupils when there's no evidence of that? I don't know if that was like a stylistic. type of thing. Like that really bothered me of episode 3 showing the Megalania. It's just like just why like you don't need to give it like slit pupils. Not all monitor lizards have that. Not pretty much all of them don't have that. They have circular pupils. Why give slit pupils to a monitor lizard? It makes no sense. And so that was my biggest gripe with this mainly from that episode. My biggest gripe that bothered me. Um, but even though a majority of the show is still good, the stories are actually being told really well, and the CGI is still amazing and all. But yeah, my overall thoughts: better depiction of the Pleistocene epoch, and so at least we get a really nice like look into the Pleistocene, which is really really nice. I think that this is way better than the Walking with Beasts Pleistocene like depiction, even though that the Walking with Beasts depiction is still not that bad. The CGI though is not that good in Walking with Beasts compared to this. This show just blows it all away. It's just really good. The animals looked great, um, except for the Megalania eyes. But yeah, the animals look great. Um, look like you were watching these animals in their environment, which is really nice. It just makes you feel like you were right there with them, which is great. And if another season does get greenlit, um, add the time range, like showcase the time range. Like we don't need to say you don't need you to skip it. Like just come on, give us a time range. Unless if you're trying not to offend certain people, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just show the time range. And of course, choose another area of time to feature other prehistoric creatures, and it doesn't have to be the Mesozoic. Like I would love to go back to the Mesozoic. Like go to the Jurassic, or let's go to the early Cretaceous. Let's go to the Triassic. Or otherwise, if you don't want to do the Mesozoic again, like you could do another part of the Cenozoic where people don't even know a lot of things about, like before the Ice Age. Or always go before the Mesozoic. Let's go to the Paleozoic. Like let's do the Permian. Let's do the Carboniferous, or otherwise the Devonian, like whatever you want to do, because like Prehistoric Planet, you can go anywhere you want, and I think that's the beauty of the show of Prehistoric Planet is that you can go anywhere. Even though the first 2 seasons took place in the late Cretaceous and the Maastrichtian, but this season took place in the Pleistocene epoch. I actually didn't like that. So my overall rating of this, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Not as high as compared to the first and second season. I thought the first 2 seasons were really, really good. It's just that this one does take some steps back, mainly like a step back, and in terms of like how did they perform, how did they make this show. And so I think this is actually still pretty good. I think this is a really good depiction of the Pleistocene. We got to be all over the world, but also showcase where these places took, where like some of these animals took place too. That's one thing I should actually say that there needs to be an improvement for that too. Like don't just like make everybody guess where like all these animals took place. Just trying to do better this time. The guys that work on Prehistoric Planet. That's all I'm asking for. But like, you still did a pretty good job. And so the next episode will be on February 26th, 2026, and that'll be a Q&A episode. So if you got any questions about dinosaurs and other prehistoric life, feel free to email me at dinocris71@gmail.com, or just go on my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, yes, you post your questions in the comment section. Don't put them on Messenger. Messengers are private conversations only, so please put your questions in the comment section on any Facebook post. And also for YouTubers out there, like the videos, subscribe to the channel. According to my analytics, a lot of you guys are checking out my channel not subscribed yet. So please feel free to hit that subscribe button and also hit the like button because that's how the YouTube algorithm works. The more likes the video gets, the more likely the video will get spread out to people that are interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. And also share the video, share the channel to anybody that is interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. And also you can hit that notification bell so that way you can get weekly notifications of every single video that comes out. And also if you go on my channel, you go into the posts tab. I actually post updates and on videos, even like paleontology news, mainly in the dinosaur news cycle. And of course, polls. I post polls every 3 days on the channel so that way you guys can participate. And all of you guys are participating very, very nicely on those polls. And also for you YouTubers out there, make sure you leave your questions in the comment section because I do read them all. All of you guys are sending me questions via email, Facebook, and YouTube. You guys are awesome. You giving me some great questions for the Q&A episodes, so keep up the great work. And also make sure you keep your questions short and to the point. You can also follow me on Instagram at dino.chris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there. You can also follow me on Threads, same thing, at dino.chris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there as well. Also, take care of the people around you. And also, for younger people out there, and make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have for a good education. It's very important to have a good education. So with a good education, you get a good job in the future. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time.